Hello, I'm Rob Jennings, and this is the top 5 business do nots. The first of the 5 is do not get distracted while communicating with people. This means don't be distracted by different various reading materials or your cell phone to text someone else or whatever else is going around in the communication scenario. You should focus on the person you are talking to. So if you're talking to someone at a desk, you should not be texting, but focus on that communication in and of itself. This is important because it shows disrespect towards the person you're talking to. They are not worth the time that you're to actually communicate effectively with them, and also inhibits any form of effective communication because you're distracted by other things, which makes it difficult for effective communication to occur in the first place. This can be easily avoided if you just focus on the task at hand and focus on the conversation you're having and the point and the purpose of that conversation instead of the text message that can wait. The fourth rule is do not send a message meant specifically for one person to a group of people, which means if you're going to write a specific message intended for one recipient, you should just send it to that recipient. This is important because it makes the person embarrassed if their name is mentioned in a specific post that is derogatory, or it can be exaltatory of them and still be embarrassing because they feel like they are bragging in front of coworkers or things like that. This also sets up the possibility for people to respond irresponsibly, where they say something that would be intended for one person, but they hit reply all and it creates a bad scenario. This can be avoided if you just use a general form when emailing to multiple people, or if you're just sending an email intended for one person, just send it to one person to avoid that issue. Third, do not have false confidence online. This leads to things like inappropriate posts wherein people go to different social media sites and they say whatever's on their mind because they feel like they can say whatever they want and don't actually have to deal with anything. Whenever you're online, you don't have to actually interact with a person and respond to them, which means you can just say whatever you want without being fearful of any consequences. This leads to poor decision making because people will rant about whatever's on their mind instead of thinking about the future and what the possible consequences of that could be. The way you would solve this is just do not say anything online that you would not say to someone in person. This avoids any sort of conflict that could occur otherwise. Probably shouldn't be saying derogatory things about people in the first place, but I'll get to that in a minute. The second rule is do not discuss work on the internet. This is important because posts are permanent and they're always there. So if you say something derogatory about a coworker when you were mad at one point, and that coworker eventually becomes your boss, you don't want that on your Facebook or something like that. You want to have your social media profiles be clean and devoid of things that could hurt you in the future. It gives information that should be private in the first place. Instead of, if you're mad at a boss, you should not advertise that to the world because it puts a negative image on you and your company that could devalue the work you're doing and the business writ large. So the easiest way to do that is just do not talk about work online because it's not necessary. If you really need to talk about it, you talk about it in person to people that are close to you that will not say anything about it. You don't need to tell the world about it. And the most important rule is do not talk negatively of coworkers at all. This engenders bad relations because not only like if they found out would they be upset that you were talking bad about them, which would make it hard to work with them. Also, you are always in constant fear that they might know, so you are fearful whenever you're having conversations or trying to work with them. That stops the communication from being effective in the first place, which inhibits productive business relations. Second, it hurts communication, which I kind of explained a minute ago, in that whenever you're worried about they might know something, or if they do know something that you said was derogatory about them, then they are less likely to be able to be effective business partners to create good work. So easiest way to do this is just keep the feelings to yourself, or if you have to talk to them, talk in private to people you know. That's the easiest way to resolve that issue.